help it. Here you go. So, this is really awkward because I don't normally do video. Hi guys, this is Woozlet, and that's my brother holding the camera, so we all owe him a big thank you because I actually don't have a stand to do so, and if he wasn't helping me, I wouldn't be able to do this, and later he'll get Lori Bell's frozen custard for helping me. So, the first thing I want to show you is my materials that I start with. This I actually just got the day before yesterday, and it is by Daler Rowney, and it is their Mixed Media Travel Book. And if you look really closely right here, you can see that it is 200G/m squared. I have no idea what that means, but this is what I mainly look at when I buy paper, especially for watercolor. When it says 120 pounds, what it basically means is they took, I think it's like 500 sheets of this type of paper, and they put it on a press to determine the weight of 500 pieces of it. Together, 500 pieces of this paper weigh 120 pounds. If you want to angle the camera over here, I want to show you the difference in the kind of paper that you use. My paint box. First thing is first. This was the original sketch that I did for New Year's ponies, and you can see how pretty this one is, and I was so mad when I started painting it, and you can hear that my paper has buckled and become distorted. This is because the paper that I used for this was, first of all, really old, and also, when you look at this, it was 15 sheets, and it is, where is the weight on it? Do you see it, Alex? I don't see it. Forgive me while I blunder and flounder about like a fish out of water.
What's PTS?
Where do you see that? I'm not sure. Well, anyways, this paper is really thin and crappy, and I should have known that it wasn't going to work. It was all I had at the time. I did go shopping, and I bought this one. And this is Strathmore. And it is, you always want to make sure and get cold press. Hot press is really smooth, and I find that it doesn't hold pigment as well. So I always get cold press. If you look here, it is 12 sheets, and it is 140 pounds, 300G/m squared. 140 pounds is the standard student grade. Most, I actually think that the other paper I showed you was 90, but this is 140. It is basic standard student grade. It holds up to a lot of scrubbing. I haven't started using it yet. Actually, I have, but it tolerates a lot of stuff much better. And what I actually did was I took a sheet of this, and if you look over here, I stretched it, which is where you put the whole sheet in a tub of water. You soak it in cold water. Cold. Make sure you use cold or you'll wash off the tooth. You soak it for a couple of minutes, and then you stretch it by taping it to a piece of board or something. In this case, I used an Amazon box because it was all I had. But, so that's the redo of New Year's pieces, and if you come in closer, Alex, you can see that I start with a basic sketch, then I line it, and then I get crazy with details. So, I'm going to pick up my paint box so my brother doesn't stub his toes, because that would just not be cool. But that's this piece that I just showed you, the 140 pound. The one that I worked, the last piece I submitted with the 4 horses on it was the 120, and that's in this notebook. It's really tiny, but I like that it like magnetic shuts, and and also it is cold pressed as well. I've only used one sheet, but it held up pretty well to this, which was all the materials that I'm about to show you that I actually used on the paper. Paper is your most important thing, that's why I showed you that first. If you're not using good paper, you're not going to have good results no matter how good you are. It's just, horrible paper is horrible. Don't buy it. It's costly, but just buy better paper. Okay. My favorite thing to work with is watercolor paint, but because I'm using this lighter weight paper, don't show me, man.
I'm showing you.
Because, I'm sorry, y'all, I got out of the shower and I didn't brush my hair, so I look really scary. I would turn kittens into stone. But, I use the Derwent ink tints, and you can see that they come from England, so it might take you a while to get some. They are $50 in Michael's craft store. I paid $20 on Amazon. It did take a little while for them to get here, but it's like a $30 difference, and if you can, I recommend using Amazon. They are water-soluble ink pencils, and I got 12 different colors, which I'm about to show you. They do dry permanent, so don't let them dry before you're done blending if you're not ready for them to be permanent. I have various colors, and you can see here at the bottom I have a black, a dark brown, a reddish brown, olive green, apple green, teal green, 2 blues, that one's really dark, a pink, a red, an orange, and a yellow. If you can get more colors, go for it. I am very poor and could not spend $50 to get more colors, even on Amazon, so I just bought the 12. Obviously, to work with watercolor pencils, you're going to need brushes. And this is the brush that came with my notebook, and I just use it because it's handy. This, I probably picked up from an art class in high school on accident. This one is a Daler Rowney flat number 2. Robert Simmons 6 is the one that I got out of the notebook that I showed you. And this one is a Low Cornell 7650 spotter. And I don't know if you can see how teeny tiny that is, but it's very tiny, and I use it for the small details like eyes and stuff. I think I stole this from my brother, and I'm now waving it. He's nodding. I stole this from him. I think he got it in like 5th grade for the Dare to Resist Drugs and Violence, Drug Abuse Resistance Education program. I'm sorry, you can have it back when I'm done. And this is my other ruler, which I also think I stole from him. Yeah, he's nodding again. I steal things on accident, and you have to watch me because I forget. This is my Daler Rowney white eraser. It's really soft and gummy, even though it looks totally hard as I'm squeezing it. But I like it because normal pencil erasers, like this one, they'll rub your ink or your pencil everywhere, and you can't get it out. It's horrible. It like rubs it into the paper. I'm sure you've all experienced this at some time and cursed very angrily. Moving on. The inks that I use. I like to use the Micron pens, and the thing about Micron is that it's acid-free ink, so it'll never fade, and it's also waterproof. The Sharpie leaves a weird red-purple shine. I don't know if you've ever noticed, but it drives me crazy. And I use 3 different sizes. The sizes are already marked in purple. And you can see that this is a number 1. It's very tiny. Can you see that, Alex? Very tiny. It writes very tiny, too. If I had a piece of paper, I could show you. Don't show my paper.
Piece of paper.
So, this is how it writes. Very thin line. The next size that I use is the 03. And it writes much thicker, but not much. I guess I shouldn't have said much thicker than not much. It's like an oxymoron. But anyways, it writes a little bit thicker than the 01. I like to go easy with the ink because if you get too crazy, it's just too much. This one is the smallest. And it is the 005. And you can see how abso-freaking-lutely minuscule that pen tip is. I like that one for the small details, just like with a small brush. Get rid of that paper. This is my Pentel Sunburst medium gel pen. I think it's like a 0.8 line. It's actually kind of thick, but you do need white ink if you want to like correct mistakes. For example, on the last painting that I did, if you look at the sclera of Jackson's eye, I accidentally painted the brown into it. And also all these little eye shine spots, those were created entirely with this white ink pen. I had to adjust Gambler's markings with the white ink pen. The blaze, the white face here, all these were created and they would only show up with that white ink pen. So, oh, my computer's going to sleep. This is my sketching pencil. It's triangular. It's weird. It gives me a callus. But anyways, it is a Daler Rowney Simply Sketching 2B. I have no idea what that means. I honestly don't. I don't care. The pencil works. That's all I care about. Wait, don't show them that side of my desk because it's a pigsty. My water has been used because I just finished the other painting that I started. But it doesn't matter. Sometimes tinted water is actually okay. Some people are anal and they have to have clean, fresh water. I don't care about that. I just need water. And I got it out of this bottle because, yeah, they give us free water at work and it tastes like crap, so I figured I may as well use it for something. This is the reference of the next painting I'm going to be doing. It popped up in my favorites gallery and I just think it's so pretty. When you're finding a reference, always make sure you're looking under the resources and stock image. I'm going to move this forward so you guys can see that. If you'll zoom in, Alex, and show where it says that. Resources and stock images. If it doesn't say that, you are stealing art. And you can see there it says stock images too. Make sure that you are not stealing, because photographers, like Seed of Beauty here, work really hard to make sure that you and I have pretty ponies to draw. Okay, now going back to the paper. So this is all dry, lucky me, otherwise that would be a no-no. You can see my paper is very tiny, my 2 hands cover it, but I don't need a lot, I'm actually just practicing. So what I'm going to do is take my ink pencil. Can you see that on there? Oh, okay, so my knuckle is not dirty, you guys, just so you know.
It's broken.
It's not broken. I work at Home Depot, for those of you who don't know, and I got it smashed in some tomato cages, which are made of, like, iron, the other day. It really hurt, and it was an accident, but it's okay now. Alright, so now here's where our ruler comes in. What you're going to do is you're going to take your ruler, and this one is clear, which is probably why I stole it from you, I'm sorry. But I'm going to measure, first I guess I'll start with how wide. My pony is about 5 1/4 inches wide. So, to translate it onto here, what I'm going to do is just pick about the middle of the paper and make little circles. Don't press down hard. I don't know what it is with people that have to like bear down when they write, but you're just messing yourself up. You're going to have marks later and you're going to be like, why can't I erase these? It'll be depressing. Okay, so assuming that his middle is right there, we're going to say, okay, how far up should we go for his top? Middle there. We're going to go about 3 inches up. I'm going to give it a little more space. So that's where the top of him should be. And I don't know if, can you see that? Those are my dots marking the height and the width. My brother's such a good cameraman, you guys. I guess I'll pay for Lori Bell's too. Okay, and if that's the middle of him again, we're going to say he's about 4 down. So I don't know how well I measured that first time, but we'll go with it. Alright, so this is going to take up pretty much my whole page. That's okay. Let's see. I like to start with the head. I did once try to start with the feet, because if you start with the feet, I feel like you get a more accurate representation of how the weight sits on the horse. But because I know my brother wants to go do his own thing, we're going to start with the head, because that's what I'm good at, and he's being nice to me and helping me out huge. So, we know the head should be about here, right? Looking at the angle of it, I'm going to copy this onto my paper. And, let's see, that's maybe his muzzle. If you look at the shape and the outline of the horse, I find that that's helpful, because when you're doing it, it's just, see, his head's not straight enough. And, hang on, I put my pencil in my mouth, don't do that, you guys. But here's that eraser. You can bear down pretty hard on it, and it erases pretty well. You can see there's still kind of a mark there, but when I go to paint over it, you won't see it anymore. So, the curvature of the neck. I don't always go for exactly accurate. I'm like, you can see both my hands here. I'm not tracing anything. There's nothing under here. I don't know. Just in case the trace Nazis want to come after me and accuse me of stealing, I'm really not.